Afternoon class. These are subplans for the 30th. This will be for first, second, and third year courses. Same video. You will do something slightly different. But this is what we're going to do today. First of all, ask that we take roll. Go ahead and get that out of the way. Once roll is taken, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you what we're going to do today, and then we'll stop and you can take roll. So today our essential question is, what is our engineering challenge? We want to look at that. We're going to introduce the Marietta High School Spirit Product Design Brief. You will find a copy of that in your Schoology folder, so I'll ask you to go ahead and open that up now. And then we're going to review that. Then the other thing we're going to do today is to select your partners and sign and upload your team contracts. Then we're going to spend the bulk of our time brainstorming some possible products we may want to make. So I'm going to review what your final template should be like, and then you're going to work to individually create and turn in that template. So you have two things that are deliverable today: the team contract and the proposed products. All right. I'm going to stop now so you can take roll, and then we will pick up after that. I want to remind everybody that TSA and SPE meets every Wednesday. So we'll be meeting Wednesday this coming week, 2:45 to 4 o'clock. We have already elected our positions and leadership positions for this year, but there's still opportunities for others to participate in leadership opportunities. Okay, I want you to open your design brief, and we're going to look at the context, the purpose and focus, the objectives, the problem described, the challenge rules, the design constraints, and what the schedule and delivery are. So here is the design brief. You should find that in your folder. We're developing a school spirit product. That's what our challenge is. And so here is the context. Working as a team of student engineers, you will use the engineering design process to solve a realistic engineering challenge. The design process will provide the structural framework to approach and solve the problem systematically. We will use our available technology, apply science and math concepts to solve the engineering challenge. You will analyze and document your design. Finally, you will give a formal presentation of your design and participate in a head-to-head competition at the end of the project. So we're doing this just like it would be in an engineering contract. We're telling you what we want, but it's not complete at this point. You're gonna get more definition, and then you will compete at the end. So the purpose of this project is for you to apply the engineering principles through an inquiry-based learning method. So it's not just a product at the end, but the whole process of going through. The focus of this project is both the final project and the process used to produce the final project. The final project will be evaluated against the initial problem statement and design constraints. The process will be documented through multiple assignments. The designs will also be used for a program fundraiser and to showcase the pre-engineering program's capabilities. So this project is actually going to help us as a program, but it also will show what we can do from start to finish. So here are the objectives. You can read those. We're going to learn all of those. The key one is the engineering design process. So I will teach it and you will do it in the application. So that's kind of going to be the format for class. As I will teach you, we'll learn something and then we'll apply it in that same class period. We'll learn how to research. We'll go through the different steps. It will develop team skills. Um, it'll give you a taste of what engineers do on a regular basis. So here's the problem. Here's the problem described. You're going to define this further, but this is the starting problem. Marietta High School's pre-engineering program is seeking innovative proposals for school merchandise for 4 markets: students, parents, alumni, and for school recognition awards. So we're looking for products that we can um, sell to those markets. The merchandise can be in the following categories. It can be jewelry, something students would wear on their body. It could be home furnishing, something that students, parents, alumni, or even people who get an award would have in their office, but it's things that you have around the house. It could be clothing, it could be a hat, it could be a wristband, it could be something like that. Um, it could be awards that you may give to students for being the most valuable player. It could be for students, for parents that have been an outstanding supporter of the school. It could be for people in industry that we recognize as educational partners. And it can be spirit items. It can be a keychain that you might have. It might be, um, it could be anything that involves school spirit. And it could be other categories that you may think of that I didn't. The merchandise will serve as a fundraiser and a showcase of the program's design and build capabilities. The design must be producible with the pre-engineering within the pre-engineering lab and marketable to school markets and be priced suitable for the chosen market. So that's really important. And then finally, you must yield a threefold return on investment. So here's what we're trying to do: make these spirit products for these markets, students, parents, alumni, and awards. And we want those to be something we can make in our program. And they've got to be priced at a level that people would actually buy them. And we want to make a threefold investment on the product, which would include the materials that's used in it, the labor to actually make it once we figured out how to make it, and amortize the cost of the equipment. That's what your investment would be, and then you need to make 3 times that. Here are the rules. Students must work in groups of 2. Um, you will follow the engineering design process and give evidence of that through different assignments. And everybody in the group must have an engineering logbook. So I have a couple, and if the substitute wants to look in that white, tall locker behind the ViewSonic TV that we moved in here, that's normally not in there, you will see some logbooks, and they've got a couple pages written in it, but if somebody needs one, they can have one. Okay, here are the constraints. It's got to be producible in the lab. So here's the equipment that we have. We have a laser cutter, 3D printer. We have hand tools. We have regular printers, a die sub printer. Don't have that yet, but we're getting that, in a heat press. So that. In the fabrication shop, we've got a plasma cutter, both a CNC and a hand. We have a water jet. We have a MIG welder, pipe bender, all of these. Ultrasonic welder, injection molder, vacuum former, and traditional shop tools. Here are the target audiences we've kind of already talked about, but this gives you more detail so you understand that. These are the initial price ranges we're thinking would be suitable for student, parents, alumni, and schools. You can look at that. The cost calculation not include the time and the energy and what it takes for you to figure out how to make it. But the cost will be determined once an acceptable product and process is achieved. So at the end of your process, Um, the cost will include the material, and you figure in some waste. We may be able to get that down past 20%. But for right now, look at 20%. Figure the labor at $14 an hour and the equipment cost amortized based on usage. And as we go through this, we'll help you figure that out more. But I just want you to know up front what the requirements are. And then you should get 3 times that cost in the product eventually. You may not get it at first, but eventually. Here are the deliverables. Notice that it talks about the phase. It talks about what the points are, whether it's a formative or summative or individual or team, and what day in the unit. Now, this is kind of a living document, so we may tweak it a bit, but this still gives you a pretty good idea of what you'll do every day. That is the design brief. If you have questions, I'll answer them when I get back. Okay, now, I want you to pick partners today. So today you will, if you're a first, second, or third year student, you will get in. You will select a partner, and the group size is 2. The research classes group size is 4. So you're going to need to sign the contract. All partners will upload that, and you will let me know. So let me just kind of cover that a bit. Okay, so you really need to think about who you choose as a partner because that's going to affect your grades. So think about that. On the contract, you will see it will ask you for your name and contact info. That's real important that you are able to get with your contact person. The other thing it's going to do is have you establish some meeting times and platforms. So let me know when you are going to meet and plan 1 hour a week. So you may say, we're going to meet on Zoom Wednesday afternoon at 5, between 5 and 6 p.m. Whatever time you choose. And it doesn't have to be Zoom, it could be however you want, but I would recommend something you can actually see each other's work. Another thing that's really crucial is to establish where you're going to house your work. If it's a Google Drive, every partner should have access to the work to fully edit it, have full access where they can edit, download, and so forth. And the reason for this is so that you don't your partner doesn't get sick or leave school and you don't have access to the document. That won't be an excuse if you say, well, I can't turn it in because my partner has all the work. Well, you need to get your portion of the work or have access to it so that doesn't happen. So I just want to make that clear up front. All right. Let me stop here. Okay, so here is the group contract. Put your class, your block. Don't worry about chosen project because we don't really know that yet. But you will put your information, print your name here, sign it with your signature date and your contact information. Then talk about when you're going to meet. You don't need to give me 3 dates and times. Well, you can, but when I would say a date and time, I mean like every Wednesday we'll meet. Um, and and then you can change that, but just give me a date that y'all can meet, which might be a day, a time, and if it's on Zoom. And then what collaboration tools you're going to use, Zoom, Slack, Google, whatever. Um, be sure you identify where everything's going to be housed and then let me know who the group leader is. Once you have done that, what I need you to do then is to take a picture of this and turn it in. Now, I am not sure if I left paper copies of these out. You can get these off of I'll put this in the Google Drive, I mean the Schoology Drive. But even if you have to write this information by hand and turn it in, do that. But I'm going to give you 10 minutes at this point. So if the substitute teacher would actually time, you have 10 minutes to find a partner, fill this information out, and both partners take a picture of it and upload it to the assignment. Okay, you may start now. Okay, at this point in time, I want you to spend about 15 to about 20 minutes just looking for products. Now, these are the type of products we're able to produce in-house. Laser engraved and laser cut products. That would be like this acrylic that you see here. A laser cut it out and engraved it here. You can't really see this, but at the bottom there's an attachment of an LED light that shines up, and that's why it looks as though it's glowing. Here's a reclaimed wood sign. We could actually maybe make this by um, vacuum forming and then acrylic, but there's several steps here. But you got a light underneath it that backlights that. So there's a lot of ways you could look at that using LED. We do have the capability of using that. But you can engrave on this like a big Marietta M, or you can make one out in front of it and backlight it. But if you just Google reclaimed wood signs, it'll give you an idea. Laser cut and acrylic products. I don't know why that's there. We really already did that once. So let me maybe it's, and then dye sublimation. That's like here, where you're taking acrylic blocks, quarter inch, half inch, an inch even, and you're putting an image on the back. This can be used for awards. It can be used for high school images or things like that. Um, but to make that return on investment, we don't want something that's kind of each piece is individually customized. That would be good if you were working for, say, the football team and you were making everybody, but you set it up one time and you're changing the image out. But if it's something that people bring you their picture and then you have to make it, and then another person brings you that, it's going to be hard to get the three times return on investment without it being very expensive. Here is a plasma cut. This is a metal sign that has been cut out and obviously painted. But you could do this. Now, all of this would have a Marietta theme on it. We're just using this to say, here's an example of what you can do, but obviously this might be a Blue Devil, this might be a Marietta M, those kinds of things. So at this point in time, I want you to use, you can use Google, you can look at Etsy, you can use Pinterest if you have it, but get as many items as you can. Try to have at least 10 items that you've identified. So don't spend too much time, and don't get them all like acrylic. Once you got one or two acrylic that you really like, then start looking at reclaimed wood signs. And once you got two, maybe three of those, then look at plasma cut, and then look at dye sublimation. But have a variety of products that you are looking at. All right, you have 20 minutes to do that. Go ahead and do that and start the timer. Okay, now this final part, I have given you this template. You have a template that looks just like this, and you're going to open this up as a PowerPoint document. I know last time I was there, some people had difficult with this. So if you do, those who were able to pull that in, show the others how you did it, because it does take a little work. But if not, open up Google Slides and make this from scratch. But it's much easier if you can use mine. Once you find a product that you like, then I want you to try to the best of your ability, figure out these things. They may not be exactly right, but try to do as much as you can. What material are you going to need to make this kind of product? In this case, this looks like a 1/4 inch thick acrylic. I would imagine this is 12 inches by 12 inches. It has this little edge lit thing here that has LED lights that shines. So that would be in it. If it goes on the window like this, it would be suction cups with hooks. But you also could just take and make a wood base that is stood up on a tabletop, and you could use that. Now think about what equipment would I need to do this. You may have to use a laser cutter if you're going to use it. If you know, so you would put that down. What kind of labor would be involved? Well, it would be the labor to actually cut the product out. You'd have to, get the acrylic, take the protective um, paper off of it, get the machine set up, uh, laser cut it, um, check it out, do quality control, and then you need to assemble the acrylic base on the bottom. So that would be the labor. And this may not be exhausted later. You're going to find more, but this is just a starting point. What do I think of the marketability is? Well, I think you could market this to possibly students, parents, alumni. Maybe a night if you put it on a little wood base. Maybe this would be like a night light or something you put in your house, or it could be on the window. Um, those would be some markets. In terms of return on investment, I would think based on just going through Etsy and places like that, you could probably sell it for $24 to $30. I think in the material cost on the acrylic would not be that much. And again, you would go and look at, I wouldn't look for a 12 by 12 piece of acrylic, but our machine can handle 24 by 18. So if you could get one that size or even bigger that you would cut down, and then if it's you got a piece 24 by 18, you can get 6 pieces out of that one sheet. So figure out what the cost is for the size you need. And then I would need to get the LED strip. I looked that up just by searching Google or Alibaba or something like that. And you're buying it in bulk. So you might be buying 100 of these to get your cost down. Um, but when I figure up all the material with everything, I'm thinking is maybe $12. You may could get it less. Now, when I look at that, I see my return on investment at $24 would be 2 times. At $30, it would be 2.5. That's in the range that we still could do some cost cutting things and maybe get it down, get it to a 3 times return on investment. When I look at this, I want you to put your pros in green, your cons in red. So it's fairly easy to make. That would be a pro. It's flexible. You can do a lot of things. Not only could I make Marietta High School signs like that, you can make Marietta Middle School signs. It could be for the football team. It could be for the track team. It could be for the band. You could just adapt that to put whatever you want on it. It could be for MCAA or with the Rockets, and it'd be a fundraiser for them that we could sell to them. So that's a pro. The cons are the LED part is fairly expensive. When I just did a cursory look, it was $4 to $12 for this. So that would be how you would do that. So you've got about 15, 20 minutes to do this. And what I need you to do is to submit this template now, because when we come back next class, we will do a gallery walk, and we will do that with those who have submitted their templates. Okay? All right. That's what you need to do today. Make sure you submit it. If you don't finish it today in class, submit it before next class.